Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes! This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Smokin' Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Toku Secrets Podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And today we're going to be doing episode number 8 of our Mahou Sentai Magiranger review series. Last time in episode 7, we took a look at stages roughly 32 through 35, which brought us to the end of the second phase. And now we are going to be jumping right into the third phase with stages 36 through 42. We got a lot to talk about here because, they kind of cut a long story short. This whole third phase is basically just one ongoing story that does not stop until the end game arc. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Before we do that, though, let us briefly recap what happened at the end of the second phase. So Memi had this big scheme to revive Inma by capturing the Magirangers and draining their legend powers. And while he was trying to do that, Wolzard, we found out, was actually Blagel, the Magiranger's father. He was basically put under a curse by Inma to serve him while he was sealing him away, and he got freed briefly thanks to the side effects of a Hades Beastman spell. And then he got freed permanently by Kai due to Kai's strong feelings. But the reunion was short-lived because Inma was starting to revive, and Blagel jumped back in and dragged him into the underworld. And he sealed him away again, but he disappeared in the process. While he disappeared, he told the Magirangers that Miyuki, their mother, is still alive, because he apparently briefly regained his memories and sent her to another world. And finally, so Memi got killed. So the second general's been killed by Hikaru in a dual bond. But unfortunately, after that, we got a brand new threat here called the Infershia Gods of Hell, which are 10 very powerful, basically deity-like beings that have basically risen up, and they're pretty much attempting to wreak divine punishment on the surface world. And the previous episode ended with Hikaru warning the Magirangers that they couldn't fight the Infershia Gods of Hell. Now, why is that? Well, we're going to find that out. So let's jump into stage 36, carrying out divine punishment, Magi Golu Gojika. So this kind of carries off from the last episode, where Hikaru tells them that by Magitopia rule, the people of the surface world can't battle the Infershia Gods because it will result in the destruction of Magitopia. So he says the Magirangers can't fight. He'll just fight by himself. We find out that so apparently there's this rule that the Infershia Gods go by from this monolith where one by one they're chosen to wreak divine punishment. Inferit, the fire demon one, is chosen for this one. And much of this episode is all about the Magirangers wanting to fight, but Hikaru refusing to let them. And it causes a lot of there's a lot of heat, and there's a lot of heated moments, a lot of fights, even a couple of moments where a couple of fists are thrown at each other. And But then Hikaru realizes, when Urara tries to rally the team with an apple pie that Miyuki used to bake, he realizes that they have to fight because apparently the Infershia Gods, I mean, they knew this, might have the answer to where their mother is. So he agrees to let them fight. And the Magirangers fight alongside Hikaru. Urara is able to use her water magic to overpower Inferit, and then it comes down to a fight. But the interesting thing here is that Inferit is not killed by the Magirangers, but rather he gets killed by the other Infershia Gods because he failed to kill the Magirangers within this self-imposed deadline that he put on himself, which violates the commandments. But as he dies, he tells them that they must defeat one of the gods control thorns. That's apparently where Miyuki is held. Now we don't know which god it is. We'll find out at some point. But basically, in order for the Magirangers to find their mom, they have to defeat this god, which means that they're basically going to have to fight the Magirangers the Infershia Gods one by one in order to find this garden. So that's the information we have here. We also learned from Wyvern that the Infershia Gods want to revive Inma to be their absolute god. And yeah, that's pretty much this whole episode. So yeah, one of the Infershia Gods of Hell, Inferit, is now defeated. So that's one down, 9 to go. All the information for this. What do we think about stage 36?
Is it ever explained, because it's not in this batch of episodes, but is it ever explained why or how Magitopia would get destroyed if anybody on the surface fought back?
I don't think it was here. It might, I think they explained it later in some of the later episodes, but it could just be like part of a prophecy and there wasn't much logic given behind it.
Yeah, because it seemed like it was a hollow threat. Like
it made it seem like with all 10 of them, they could have all combined their powers and literally just destroyed everything. But why didn't they just do that?
I guess their system, how they operate, is kind of cool, and this is something that we're going to see a little bit more of as we go with these guys. Is that they have a system of, well, this guy gets picked, and they're not allowed to be aided in any way or whatever out of like fear of their plan. Now, where it's a cool thing that these guys have like some honor system to them. It's a very strange and kind of almost unnerving dynamic that these guys have.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's much more fleshed out, than it was in Mystic Force, where it's just a matter of the terrors just saying, we got to do this because that's the way for the master to revive. No, it's more like you kind of get the idea that they think, well, I mean, we're all such powerful gods. It would be completely unhonorable for us to just combine our powers just to destroy the world in what, we have an honor to how we're going to kill people, basically, for whatever that's worth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been one of the biggest issues with Mystic Force, was that the 10 Terrors arc seemed really hollow in some regards because of that. And it was always a complaint I had with that arc, was that the 10 Terrors themselves were never really given any time to express or showcase themselves. And already Magiranger is making these guys, these might be the most interesting villains this season has had, and it's not even close.
Yeah. I think the only issue I would have is, and again, I think they might flesh this out a little bit more, but the whole idea that if the people fight back, then Magitopia will be destroyed. You could have made it a little bit more simple, because that's the funny thing. They later bring this up in another episode we're going to be covering this batch, which revolves around Hikaru. Instead of having it be that, you could have it be a bit more personal for Hikaru. As a heaven saint, he knows how powerful the Infershia Gods of Hell are. They're way more powerful than any other thing the Magirangers have faced before. So he's genuinely afraid, you guys are just normal magicians. There's no way you're going to be able to face them. So just let me, the heaven saint, handle this so that you guys don't get into any trouble. Would that have been simple? Yeah, but it would have been very much in tune with Hikaru's character.
True.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I do want to really hit on for this episode that made me love it was the Hikaru storyline with not wanting to involve the Magirangers and the subtle hints of a romance. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was great. His moments with Urara were adorable.
Yeah, Aurora and him are like my new OTP canon, by the way.
OTP, what do you mean?
One true pairing. It's a fandom term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a general fandom term beyond Power Rangers and Sentai. It's like just anyone can use that. And so when you sip a pairing like Urara and Hikaru, you can say that's my OTP. To say that's my one true pairing and nothing else matters.
Well, just wait till we get to the in-game art. I'm not spoiling anything though.
I mean, you said enough right there.
Knows what I'm talking about.
Yep. Not saying a word though. Mm-mm.
I mean,
lips are sealed.
I mean, in context, if you take this episode out of context, it's kind of funny where he eats the apple pie and he's like, "Okay, you guys are right. You should fight." That was one good apple pie.
It's true. Must have been really good. And also one other thing, I think another way that this really puts into context just how powerful the Infershia Gods are. I know that this is technically not going to be the case in the next couple of episodes that we watch, but here's the big thing to know: like the Magirangers don't kill Infrared. Like for all we know, he could have easily killed them if he hadn't put that deadline on himself. Like he gets killed by his fellow people. That is a way to establish how threatening these people are by not having the Magirangers defeat them, but instead have them kill one of their own.
Yep.
Because that is kind of chilling because we have no way of knowing if the Magirangers would have been able to defeat him. Now, would they? Probably, but we don't know.
It would not have been easy. I know that for sure. They probably would have like felt a very, very serious blow, but then they would have been heavily injured in the process.
Mm-hmm. It does lead to an interesting thing, and it was something I was hoping we'd see more of this happen, is that they're on a time limit, they could just stall them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what happened here. They stalled him out.
Yeah. But what do we want to give this one out of 10?
I mean, I would give this a 9 just because of that dang romance angle alone.
Yeah, I think 9 is appropriate.
Everything else was also great, but that was like the icing on top for me.
Oh, was his name really Infrit?
I think so. It might have been.
It's actually Ifrit.
Yeah, Ifrit. I was about to say
Ifrit. Yeah.
It's
in the subs I was watching.
Isn't it a Middle Eastern fire god, Ifrit?
Oh, okay.
And a Final Fantasy summon, if you're into
yes,
Final
yes, it
Fantasy.
is.
Yep, that's where I learned it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was looking at the notes and it was like Infrit. I thought the thing was supposed to be based off Ifrit.
Okay, yeah, that day the subs I was watching must have mistranslated it. I hate those.
Yeah. Because all of these guys are based off of some kind of deity in some continuity or mythology or whatever. Yeah, but this is I would agree with Riz. This is a 9.
Yep. Okay, now let's move on to stage 37, Sniping Golu Magi. This is a beginning of a 2-part episode. This one leans a bit more toward Makito, but the whole saga is basically Makito and Tsubasa together. Revolves around the battle with Cyclops, the next Infershia God of Hell, where Makito confronts Tsubasa over his obligations to the family. Cyclops gets chosen as the second God of Hell to attack the surface world. He's an expert sharpshooter and challenges the Magirangers to a game where they run, and if they can avoid his attacks by sundown, they'll win. And he hides himself in some unknown location, and he fires at the Magirangers. He injures Kai, and while all this is happening, Hikaru encounters Drake, another one of the Infershia Gods of Hell, in another world. Drake is bored over not being chosen to attack the surface world, and he wants to be entertained by battling a heavenly saint, but Hikaru pretty much has the floor wiped with them for this episode. We find out in a flashback that 2 years prior, a bear got loose and severely injured Kai while Makito and Miyuki were gone. Tsubasa wasn't there to watch Kai. And that's when Makito vowed to always be there to protect his siblings. He originally had a dream to study abroad in Brazil so that he could eventually open a bigger farm. And the episode ends with Cyclops hitting Makito with an attack. And this causes Makito to vanish, and that does not make Tsubasa too happy. So, yeah, what do we think about this episode?
I kind of want to save my opinions until we talk about the second part.
Okay.
Because, like, this two-parter is amazing, but I can't talk about why this episode works without talking about the second part, too.
Okay, cool. The only thing I'll think about this one is that there's a scene where some tourist woman, a white woman, walks up to them and starts trying to speak to Tsubasa in English. I mean, he can't speak English. I mean, you can hear Makito speak very accented English. I just love scenes like that in Sentai where you can hear people speaking English.
Yeah, he was like, I can't speak English.
I mean, if that was his actual actor saying those lines, he had pretty good English pronunciation. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Although it's funny how Tsubasa can't speak English because the other Ranger character that his actor portrayed, Jin Masato, spoke pretty dang good English in Go Busters. So
that's right. His actor was Beatbuster, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Yeah. I remember they made a joke about that in the Go Kaiser crossover movie.
Yeah.
They did that, and they did a joke about it in the Go Kaiser 10th anniversary movie too.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 37 by itself is still a 9 just because I thought it gave good weight to Makito and everything, and it sets up the next episode good. So I think 9 is appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go with a 9 for this as well.
Okay, cool. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the bigger one here for this story. Stage 38, A Promise with Big Brother, Go Majiro. So this continues it where the Magirangers continue to flee from Cyclops. Hoka and Urara get shot down too, and this causes Tsubasa to have a panic attack because basically all the older siblings are gone, and he wasn't able to save them like Makito. But Kai tells him, like, hey, I mean, you don't have to be like Makito. You're strong in your own right. You're fine. And just the way you are, and that restores Tsubasa's fighting spirit. He comes up with a plan to defeat Cyclops, where he discovers that he was hiding in this other mirror world, because Makito was able to give him that information when he threw his Magi stick in a mirror. So he enters the mirror world where Cyclops is hiding, and he defeats Cyclops in a one-on-one duel with his dial rod bowgun. And now during this fight, Cyclops reveals that he's not the one who controls the Garden of Thorns, so he's not the one that the Magirangers need to find yet. They kill Cyclops for good with Magi Legend and Travelian, and the Infershia Gods are left kind of aghast at this because, one of their kind actually fell to the Magirangers, and Dagon's not too happy about that. On a side, Hikaru's battle with Drake gets cut short because Sphinx intervenes. Sphinx is kind of the one who's like mainly enforcing these rules. She forces Drake to withdraw, and she says that, like, in order for Enma to revive, these dark commandments must be followed. So yeah, that's this whole thing, and we could talk about what we think about this episode, but Anthony definitely wants to go first, judging what he's saying in the notes here. So go ahead, Anthony, go wild.
Yes. This was the episode I was waiting to tell y'all that this is the reason why he became my favorite Ranger in this entire Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let me get this one thing straight. So, like, it took me a long time up to this point because I thought he was an okay character when I first watched the show. When I got to this episode, I was hooked. I was like, this is my guy right here. This is my guy.
Yeah.
And like, dude, he has his own freaking OST. And let me remind you, the guy who plays Tsubasa in the show sings this song. So Go Yellow Thunder, that's all him.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Go look it up. It's called Go Yellow Thunder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this two-parter was not only was it probably the episode that saved Tsubasa, but it was also the episode that saved Makito.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Makito was already getting saved in the prior bats, but this solidified him.
Yeah.
Like, this is what sealed the deal on everything we were saying before about him.
Mm-hmm. Because he was like, he explained why he's so overprotective, because he almost lost his younger sibling and he couldn't handle it. And I can relate to that personally. Like, as an older brother myself, I can relate to that. And seeing Tsubasa, like, see that, realize that, and be put in his shoes, and he's not holding up. That moment where he was in, breaking down and like on the verge of tears, like, dude, that hurt to watch.
Yeah.
That scene was so good. Because we haven't seen him like this the whole season. He's been the stern, quiet, kind of rebellious one. And now he's been put into a situation where he's what he didn't particularly like about his big brother, and he gets it. He crumbles, and having Kai be like, man, even Kai had a good moment of, hey, just because you're not doing it like him doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. You need to do it like you.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, this is a perfect episode.
It was an amazing episode for Makito. It was amazing. This is the best Tsubasa episode without question. And Kai had a moment, just like everything about this two-parter was perfect.
And I know I want Nate to be the one to say this, because I know he wanted to say that. So Mystic Force low-key adapted this, but they cut out everything from what Tsubasa did at the end of the fight and replaced it with Nick getting the battle laser. I was like, oh.
I actually completely forgot what the Mystic Force episode for this was.
Yeah, long story short, it's just the debut of Nick's Battleizer, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. What? Nah.
And what's even worse is that when they adapt the next episode, because the next episode isn't. I mean, okay, he shares it with Hoka, but it's still a Kai episode, so you could get away with debuting the Battleizer there. But you also have the battle. You have the climax of the next episode of Mystic Force. Also have Nick defeat the Terror with his Battleizer. So why did this episode have to be the debut of the Battleizer? You are stealing an episode that would have been amazing for Chip, and you could have sprinkled in a little bit of Xander there too. Because Xander and Chip, two of your best characters, and you steal it from them. Like, bad form, Mystic Force, very bad form.
Yeah, that was
I want to mention, can we just talk about the fact that Tsubasa and freaking why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? Kai figure out how to that where he was coming from with all those shots and stuff, because he was going to the mirror basically. That was clever writing. I love that.
Yeah, very clever. Riz, did you want to add anything on that with like how they did with the Mystic Force thing?
No, I think y'all covered that part pretty well overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just repeat myself at this point if I ever, ever repeating y'all.
Yeah, just man, like that might be the one Mystic Force episode that makes me like really angry, just because you're stealing stuff from Chip and Xander, both amazing characters, and you're giving it to Nick. Which I know that's Mystic Force in a nutshell. That doesn't make it hurt any less.
Yeah.
But as for this episode, got nothing negative to say about it, and this is a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would second that, yeah.
Sure, I would go up to 11 if I could.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you.
Well, too bad, because that's how the numbers work. The highest you can give it is a 10.5.
Okay,
well,
I guess we'll
10.5.
give it that then.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, next up, stage 39, beginning of a two-part episode with Gorgon, the next Infershia God of Hell. This, as I kind of just said in my little rant about the Mystic Force episode, this revolves around Kai and Hoka, where, so at the beginning of the episode, and this not relevant to this batch, but just keep it in the back of your head because that's going to come into play in the next batch. So Toad, another one of the gods, confronts Kai and Hoka, and Kai asks him if he's the ruler of the Garden of Thorns, and Toad doesn't say no. Well, okay, he says no, but he looks extremely nervous when he says no. Kind of a dead giveaway, but just keep that in the back of your heads, dear listeners. But to continue with the story, Gorgon gets chosen as the next Infershia god to wreak divine destruction. She apparently learned she was next in line thanks to the Book of Prophecy from Vancuria. So she asks Toad to deal with the Magirangers for her. Now he failed. He used a poison that was supposed to kill Kai and Hoka, but instead it causes them to switch bodies, and Nai and Mare also switch bodies as a result. And some of this episode revolves around like typical body switch shenanigans. Like Kai goes on Hoka's dates for her. He gets caught in a spat as two of the guys that were scheduled to go on a date with her on the same day begin fighting, and Hoka gets into some hijinks while attending Kai school for Kai. So with the Magirangers in disarray, Gorgon attacks the surface world, and she unleashes an army of snakes, which turn people that they bite into stone. Smokey gets bitten and gets turned to stone, and she challenges the Magirangers to battle in the Garden of Slithering Things. So yeah, that wraps. So that's the first part of this episode. We can briefly comment on it before we continue. What do we think about this one?
I know it's a small thing, but thank you for not having them voice over the other.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my god, that was annoying, and everything else is done by swap episodes.
Yeah, I don't know why they always do that, but it made it feel more, I guess, funny seeing them try to express themselves as each other's characters.
Yeah,
like don't they know that's gonna take a lot of editing to do that? Like,
yeah, I know. And plus, I'm sure when the two actors had fun doing that.
Oh yeah.
But I do like this because Kai, like getting an inside of Hoka's like daily life through Kai's perspective was comical.
Yeah.
Like she had what 15 dates in one day or something. Like what the heck, man?
Who else but Hoka?
I just want to know why Hoka was kind of sewn that way. I don't understand. Like, why did she have so many dates in one day?
I mean, it's kind of just a woman, Riz. Yeah, it's kind of been implied throughout the season that she's like I don't want to use the term playgirl, but she's an attention seeker, I guess.
She is, but I feel like that was a little too
too much. It was too cartoonish.
Too extreme.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're going with it, and I kind of agree with it. But
yeah,
Kai shutting it down and saying you're not really, dating people. You're just kind of being around. That was a good thing for I see the direction they were going with this. I don't think it works as well as the previous two-parter does, because in the second part it's more of them trying to figure out the problem. But I think it's still a good two-parter for the two of them, because Kai has a moment of, well, he's doing everything himself, and she sees that, and she's like all over the place, and he sees that, and they call each other out on it. It's an okay episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the concept of it. I just I don't know. I feel like this kind of made Hoka's character a bit more cartoonish, or maybe just more not the person I thought she would be in general. I know she's like very flirty and kind of like very loving, I guess is the word I want to use, but this kind of ruined her character in some ways for me.
You know what? I actually agree with that. Because I'm just thinking to myself, like, it'd be one thing if maybe she couldn't decide between, like, maybe two guys. She's like, oh, I like this guy, but he has this quality, but I don't like, but I like this guy, but he has things that I like, the other guy doesn't have, but his quality is so good too. It's like she couldn't decide on either one. And maybe she was mad at Kai, but like she broke up with both. I'm like, no, I still wasn't sure about which one I wanted to pick. That would have been a more compelling story.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Like, this is too cartoony for me in some ways.
Like 15, girl, golly.
They had to inject a little bit of adult humor into the scene where they swapped bodies, which was kind of funny, but still.
I mean, that was okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah, the adult humor where it's like Kai feels a certain area on his chest and he's all like, oh, there's sort of something here. And then Hoka's all like, what do you mean sort of something? And then it's like, and then Kai is all like, well, I mean, if you compare it to like what Urara has there, then it's not much. And then Urara's all like, listening to this conversation.
But the fact that he's comparing the two is kind of funny and hilarious, but also wrong.
It is wrong, yeah. Like, there's his sister, man. What's wrong with you?
I mean, he is the youngest brother. Give him some. He's the youngest of 5. Cut him some slack.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway I have from this that I will use to defend Hoka a little bit is I thought that because she's the girliest girl out of the two, that her being in a boy's body would make her freak out and have like an epic meltdown. But she kept going on about her happy, cheerful self. And I kind of like that. They kind of subverted my expectations a little bit with this. Kai was the one that was having trouble accepting it. She was just whimsical and whimsical. I'm back in high school. I'm playing football. And like she's just going with it. I kind of like that.
I guess maybe he didn't realize that because how he is, like he wants to win as opposed to like just having the other team feels, because like it's cool that he wants to like be like the winner and all that, but he has to understand that maybe his friends, maybe his teammates just want to have fun. Like they don't want nothing about winning, they just want to have fun.
Yeah, what do we want to give a 39 out of 10?
I'm gonna go with a 7.
Yeah,
I was about to say that. Wow.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, now let's move on to stage 40, the Gorgon's Garden, Majin Luludo. Sorry, my tongue got tied there. Pretty much continues the previous episode where, so because Kai and Hoka have switched bodies, they can't transform. So they stay in the surface world and the others go to confront Gorgon. Hoka is playing soccer in Kai's body, and because she's put on a much more upbeat and kind nature, she's able to encourage the team. And Yuka's watching this whole thing, voicing admiration for how Kai is, and while she's talking to Kai in Hoka's body. And, Kai is realizing, maybe I'm a little too selfish and I'm obsessed with winning too much. And that's when, he's able to see his own flaws, kind of like how he was able to help Hoka see her flaws. So meanwhile, Gorgon eats the other Magirangers and then returns to the surface world. But Sphinx intervenes. She's basically enraged that Gorgon and Toad kind of went behind their back. So she restores Kai and Hoka to normal, and they're able to free Hikaru and the others. And then the Magirangers, they kill Gorgon for good in Magi Legend and Travelian. And then, but in the underworld, we have this little subplot where Enma isn't showing any signs of resurrecting, and Dagon goes to investigate. And what does he find? Well, apparently in the lake where Enma's soul is supposed to be held, Wolzard is there. Wolzard has, Blagel in his Wolzard form. He's not Wolzard anymore, but he's in his Wolzard form. He's absorbed Enma's soul, so he is actively preventing Enma from returning. We don't know where he is. We just see the spirit of him in there. But yes, Blade Gel has absorbed Inma's soul. We'll get more into that in the next episode. But what do we think about stage 40 in the meantime?
I mean,
Dagon. Oh,
huh?
No, I was gonna say like Dagon was like, "Hey, give him back, baby, get my boss back." He said, and freaking Blazel's like, "Come get him, Pete."
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what he's doing, yeah.
I mean, so for me, when I was watching 40, I was like, okay, I do like how Kai and Hoka collaborate and work together to try and figure stuff out and in their own way learn from each other about, how the other is and why they do things the way they do it. And I thought that was pretty awesome to see. So while I was a bit more with Hoka last episode, I have more respect right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But even with that, though, I would still say that, like, of the episodes that revolve around the battle with the Infershia Gods, this one might technically be the weakest. It's still good. It's very good. It's still good, but I don't think it dives in as deep as the other ones did. Like, the previous one really dived into, like, why Mikito is the way he is, and it brought out, a different side of Tsubasa, where we're shown that underneath all of his uncaring and annoyed nature, he really cares about his siblings. And then the next two parts that we're going to take a look at takes an even deeper dive for another character. I'm not going to spoil that. This one, I mean, we get typical body swap shenanigans, funny body swap shenanigans, mind you. So that's not a problem, but I kind of wish it hit a bit deeper than it did. It's fine.
They had a good foundation for it to hit deeper. It's just I don't think that they went in. They focused a little bit too much on the goofiness of her going to high school and him trying to deal with her dates than they did on the actual like helping each other dynamic that the episode loosely worked on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why I don't like body swap episodes, because they always seem to try to make it a comedic thing when it doesn't need to be all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say this is one of the better body swap episodes. I'm probably kind of torn between either this one or the Gokaiger one. It's definitely better than the Kyoryuger one. I'll definitely give you that. But yeah,
I have a quick question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think Mystic Force would have been able to handle doing that if they adapted that whole body swap thing in the episode they adapted this from?
I don't know if it would work in Mystic Force's context, because I don't think Vita and Nick had the type of dynamic and relationship that Hoka and Kai had. I think they would find just the way they did it, where the two were just kind of butting heads, because that seemed very much in tune with their personalities.
Yeah. Because I'd be like, because I think what would have happened was that like Nick would be like, whoa, I'm in your body. What's going on? And she'd be like, oh, I'm your body. And I don't know. It probably would have tried to do some funny shenanigans with it, but I'm not sure how they would.
I don't think it would have worked as. I don't think it would have worked as well either, because I think V and Nick are more similar in personality than Kai and Hoka are. So it wouldn't have had the same kind of effect.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I actually liked the Mystic Force episode. My only gripe with it being that I kind of wished that they made that be the episode that debuted the Battleizer, so that you didn't steal the previous one from Chip and Xander. But I still thought it worked fine. I mean, because it's one of two episodes that technically also revolves around Vita, the other one being that vampire two-parter. Any episode that revolves around Vita is good for me. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, I'd probably still say that this one deserves an 8, where it's good, and there's an attempt to put effort into it, but man, it could be a whole lot better than it was.
I still want to say 7 for this one too.
Okay, fair
I'll
enough.
probably say like maybe a 7 or 8 for me.
I'm gonna go with a 7.5,
Mhm.
which frustrates me because this had a lot of the hallmarks of being a really, really strong 9, but it just kind of fell flat in comparison to other stuff. Like, I think if they had more like of a heartfelt message and Hoka wasn't seen in the way she was in the previous episode to kind of build up to this, then we could have had more time spent on an important matter rather than this trivial like, oh my god, you got to help me with my dates, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Yeah,
can we do something more interesting with you?
yeah,
Like you're saying before, like if she had like a love triangle with 2 other guys, that could have been more interesting.
mhm.
Because then she'd have to pick one. And at the end, let her pick one and be like, okay, this is the guy I'm with. I would have been more okay with that. And if Kai was the one like, to help her figure it out because he saw stuff that she didn't see, bro, that'd been strong. That'd been amazing. But they didn't do it.
Hold on. I'm curious now. Who wrote this episode? Like, because if it was because if it was who I think it is, then if it is who I think it is, then I'm going to be really angry.
Oh God.
Oh no, it is.
What happened?
What's the Declaration head writer? No wonder this is so bad.
What up? Who is this?
The head writer, the person who wrote this episode. Oh no. Yeah.
No, wait. I'm confused. Who we talking about? I couldn't hear you.
The guy who wrote Deca Ranger.
No.
Geki
Ranger.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh, Geki Ranger. I heard Deca Ranger from you. Okay, never mind.
So did I.
Now I understand.
Oh no! If it was the Deca Ranger writer, then this would have been a much better episode. Just gonna tell you that.
So this is the obligatory hate on Geki Ranger, and it's not brought by me this time.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's actually valid.
I mean, that explains why they focus more on the comedic stuff instead of the character stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the good news is we can now move on to I mean, at least in my opinion, although I'm sure I'm not going to get much pushback on this, a legitimately good 2-parter for the next one. We have Stage 41, The Teacher's Teacher, Golu Majulu. This is a Hikaru-centric 2-parter that revolves around the battle with Drake. It's also the Christmas episode. Where when the episode begins, Hikaru is talking with Snowgel, and Snowgel confronts him on his concern of what may happen to Magitopia if the lore comes true. And he's also expressing how he's doubting his ability to be a good mentor to the Magirangers. And she says, well, you could learn a thing or two about Kai on that. And that causes a little bit of resentment and confusion with him. Drake gets chosen to be the next Infershia God to wreak divine punishment. He's completely clueless about the Garden of Thorns. He doesn't know what it is, and he is extremely powerful. The Magirangers aren't even able to land a blow on him. During the fight, Kai is constantly trying to like jab and just attack Drake constantly, while Hikaru is saying like we need to be a bit more methodical in this. And that's when Hikaru finally like just snaps, and he tells Kai that he's too reckless and impulsive, and there's nothing he can learn from Kai. This causes Snowgel to get really angry. Snowgel transforms to her adult form. She intervenes and drives Drake off, sending him to another world. And she tells the Magirangers to join her, but unfortunately, Hikaru can't come because she thinks that Hikaru will just get in the way. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the meat of this will be in the next episode, but we can briefly comment on this. What do we think about this?
I wasn't expecting Snowgel to throw hands like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Grief. Yeah, I think this one needs the context of the second episode.
Yeah. But I'd still give it a 9 just because I think mainly for the setup alone and like what they do throughout. Because so they combine this pretty much with all the fights with the Tin Terrors. They combine this and the next episode into one episode in Mystic Force. And I really like the setup here where Hikaru goes to Snow Gel just to kind of vent some anxieties that he has. And then Snow Gel gives him these tips on how to deal with those anxieties. And we actually see him, trying to work with Kai. Whilst in Mystic Force, this whole part of the episode is the Snow Prince just brings Daggeron and Nick into it and says, Daggeron, you're kind of starting to get a little weak. You could learn a couple of things about Nick. And then they turn the episode into oh, ha, ha, Daggeron's trying to learn something from Nick. What is he doing? Oh, he's trying to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Isn't that funny? Like, it's just stupid.
I mean, the thing, it works at this because Hikaru is he's not a cocky, like, demeaning mentor. He's very enthusiastic. So when he gets told that, he's like, oh, sure, let's see what we got here. Like, he was eager and willing to hear Kai out. And
yeah, it wasn't until he finally snaps during the battle, as opposed to Daggeron, who snaps before that whole thing happens.
And to see Kai be so, like, not giving up, even with the cake scene, I thought was pretty good because he was like, no, let's start over. We can salvage this. It won't be perfect, but we can salvage this. I'm like, I see this. I like this guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Personally, I know that this is all about a teaching moment or whatever, but honestly, if I was in their shoes and I had to deal with the whole cakes being destroyed thing, honestly, I kind of would have just used magic to fix everything. But then I would also erase their memory so that what happened? Oh, like what's wrong with the cakes? No,
I feel like there might be rules against that because I think Kai did try to do that, and Hikaru was like, "Don't do that." It would
yeah.
But yeah, I'd still give this a 9 just because, mainly just for, I'm going to save the higher score for the next episode, but I still think Hikaru was great in this episode alone, and I think a 9 is good.
Yeah, mostly because I'm a big fan of Hikaru. I kind of agree with that. He, like, honestly, like, when we get to the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, like, in my top 5 favorite Sixth Rangers.
He's already getting there for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty high up there.
What did you want to give it, Riz?
Same as y'all, the 9.
Okay, cool. All right, let's wrap up this two-parter as well as this batch with Stage 42, Confrontation, 2 Ultimate Gods, Golu, Luma, Golu, Gonga, which continues this. So when Hikaru returns back, he sees this family of bakers whom he and Kai were helping. They're able to make all their cakes despite these issues that they had because they were inspired by Kai being proactive and taking action. And that's when Hikaru kind of realizes, sometimes you can't just sit around thinking about what to do. Sometimes you really do have to just take action and, act on impulse. And, he learns that, he learns the value from that in Kai. And when he tells Snowgel that, Snowgel realizes that, Hikaru has learned the lesson that she wanted him to learn, and she allows him to fight again. Hikaru fights Drake one-on-one in his Heaven Saint form. He's able to discover a weakness in Drake's hide. Kai was able to discover it at first when he attacked him, and he overpowers Drake. We get this big fight with Drake and the mechs, during which Sleipnir, under the request of Dagon, he intervenes in the fight, and this was actually a trap to lure out Blagel because he's trying to figure out where Blagel was. So Sleipnir is battling the Magirangers. Blagel intervenes with his Wolkaiser form to stop Sleipnir. the Magirangers are all kind of shocked because, their father is alive, they're reunited, and Blagel tells them that they have separate missions, but they have to keep working towards them. Then he drags Sleipnir back into the underworld. But while he was doing this, Vancuria planted one of Dagon's scales onto Walzard. This allows him to find where he's hiding. We're going to get more to that in the next batch. But yeah, that was the big thing. The Magirangers are still able to defeat Drake in Magi Legend and Trevelyan. The episode ends with Hikaru thanking Snowgel for her guidance. He returns to the Magirangers to join their Christmas party, and everyone is hopeful because, it's Christmas, everyone's happy, and both of their parents are still alive, so soon enough, the whole family will be reunited. So what do we think about this one, guys?
I want to accurately depict what actually happened at the end of the episode. Hikaru got assaulted by all of them to put on a Christmas costume.
Yeah, that too. I should have included that.
That ending scene was actually kind of funny because he was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he got to finish his fight with Drake because they had that big brawl a couple of episodes ago that was kind of paused because Sphinx was like, "Stop that." Him actually like getting a chance to finish it was great. Like Hikaru is not stupid. He's smart in the way that he knows that even though you're more experienced than your students doesn't mean that you can't learn something from them. And I'm glad that he was so willing and eager to sit down and think about it. And when he realized, he was like, shoot, let me go try this. And it actually worked. Like this man, I love this guy, dude. He's such a cool character. Like he's so calm, he's smooth, and he murders people.
Yeah.
he does it
like,
all.
even when he gets angry, you kind of like, you know what? Maybe he does have a point. But I still didn't like how he did that, especially with the whole incident with the T and the Aurora episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I was angry for a little bit, but I kind of got it. He acknowledged that, he went too far. Maybe he needed to chill out.
And I think this was perfect just because, he kind of had a subtle arc here. And I feel like this episode really added a lot to it, where his whole thing is that he's this very young heaven saint. Like Snowgel literally says in this two-parter that one day Hikaru might be good enough to be like the arch heaven saint, like one of the bigger veteran ones, like on par with Blagel. I don't know if Rin is on that level yet, but yeah, he's more of a young, like maybe fresh out of training heaven saint, kind of like on par with what Obi-Wan is when he first takes on Anakin to be his apprentice. And of course, because he's never been in this role before, he's going to have a lot of anxieties over being a mentor. We had a whole two-parter episode where he was going out of his way and putting his life at risk to save Tsubasa. And I feel like this episode was another good one too, where he's wondering if he's a good enough mentor, especially in a very precarious position like this. And that's when Snowgel tells him he could learn this lesson. And the lesson is pretty powerful too, because usually when like you're that young and you're fresh out of training, you do tend to be a little bit more like timid in your actions. Like you're not really sure like what is the best course of action. You want to sit and think instead of just charging in. And it's a great lesson for someone to learn, especially at that age, that sometimes you just don't have time to think. Sometimes you can't just sit back and think. You really do have to take action. There's a perfect balance between being reckless and impulsive, but also methodical. And Hikaru was able to find that balance here. I think this is just perfect writing here. Once again, extremely powerful, especially for a character like Hikaru.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and once again, it's so deep, and once again, it. Okay, well, actually, no, I don't have any problem bad-mouthing Mystic Force in this case because, I guess I liked it okay because Daggeron finally got a focus episode, but it didn't really run that deep. And, of course, you have to, inject Phineas into helping him learn his lesson, which is just stupid. There's no reason for Daggeron to even have to learn this lesson. Literally, No, literally the only reason that Dagmar had that focus episode was because they had to adapt this episode because it has some big plot implications. And when you're using the Sentai footage, Maji Shine is very clearly the main character, so you got to give it to Daggeron. So that's literally the only reason why Daggeron got the episode.
And I feel bad for John Tui because I heard that he actually enjoys playing this character, and he also enjoys because he has to wear like a freaking dog suit the whole time. But
dude, Anthony, John Tui loves Daggeron, and he loved Kruger. Like he just loved being a ranger all throughout.
I kind of did. Honestly, I really
I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I really wish that
he was better though.
Yeah, I honestly wish that John Tui might have been better playing like I don't know, maybe I would have liked him better if he just played Liambo because he could have had that type of presence. And then I don't know, like I really feel like I wish that they got someone younger to play Daggeron so that you could have a bit more of you could adapt more of Hikaru's story arc with Daggeron.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, again, I don't mean any offense to John Tui at all. I mean, he did his best with Daggeron. It's not his fault, but everything was written the way he was written. So I don't mean any disrespect to the actors. But yeah, Riz, did you want to chime in on anything with this episode in general?
Personally, I think this episode's amazing. So
yeah,
probably my 10.
Yeah, it's a 10.
It's 10 for me too.
Yeah,
and it hits particularly hard for me because I remember liking Hikaru a lot when I originally watched it, but my God, like I honestly forgot how great he was. Like I'm with Patrick. Like I might have to reevaluate my top 5 6th Rangers because I think Hikaru was making a good case to be there.
Yeah, alongside Jeremy and the Wings.
Yeah,
I think he deserves a place next to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just listening to like the audio for some of our previous podcasts, where when I was doing the editing work, and I specifically say when we did our tier rankings that I don't think Hikaru would be able to make it up to S tier or make it up into the top 10, but yeah, leave it to me to prove myself wrong. It's been just a couple of podcasts.
That's why it's nice to revisit shows or movies because sometimes how you watch something the first time you watch it is going to be different the second time you watch it. So,
like, people like me who are just dumb, you watch Ginga Man once and you hate Hikaru, not Hikaru Maji Shine, Hikaru Ginga Yellow, and you think he's one of the worst Sentai Rangers of all time. Then you rewatch him again, and then you realize how great he is. I mean, you're just thinking, were you even watching the show the first time around? Like, yeah, that's my story was revisiting some of these Sentais.
Yeah, because I actually hated Hikaru in Giga Man at first, but then after watching it, I was like, he's not that bad. He's kind of just like the kid of the team, and he needed to grow and all, and he did. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, this is a 10, and pretty much everybody agreed. Do we have any closing thoughts before we wrap up this batch?
No.
I think one thing I want to say for Magiranger is these last 2 batches have been really incredible. Especially in comparison to what we got before it, because before it, I was kind of like, all right, this is good, but it's not like amazing good, because I have had a couple of people over the last couple of months tell me, oh, Magiranger's a definite really good season. I'm like, okay, you say that, but the first 20 to 25 episodes is all right, but it's the second half that really starts to pack that punch for me, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And well, I mean, these next two batches that we're going to do are also going to be equally good too. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that wraps up this batch. So next time when we reconvene for Magiranger, we'll be taking a look at everything up until the 3-episode in-game arc. So yeah, we only got 2 left for Magiranger. We hope you guys will join us for that. And we got a lot of stuff planned for you guys all the way into 2026. And the big thing I do want to bring up here, as of the recording of this one on December 21st, 2025, I have officially seen, with the exception of Go Juger, because Go Juger does need to finish, but I have officially seen every Sentai all the way through. I just finished Dawn Brothers a little bit in like the middle of the previous week. So yeah, our 250th podcast, which will be around the time when Go Juger is finished, I will be. It will officially be me tearing up every single Sentai from Go Ranger all the way to Go Juger. That's going to be a very special podcast. We hope you guys will definitely join us for that, especially with everybody else here to kind of heckle me and give their commentary on that.
I have to say, you can't forget that we're going to all be here watching you and judging you and heckling you.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You gave that what? What's wrong with you? Me never having seen the season before in my life.
Exactly.
Everything he says is wrong.
Stupid. That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid. Yeah. But yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, that's going to be a very fun podcast for our 250th. So definitely join us for that. But with that said, we got a lot of other stuff planned. We're going to announce, we're going to be kind of dipping our feet into Metal Heroes a little bit after we're done with Magiranger. And, we got a lot of other stuff planned for you guys in the fan-made content department. Lots of fun stuff ahead for the year of 2026. We hope you guys will join us for all of that. But until then, everybody stay safe. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets Podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.